Hey guys, welcome. I have a minute left, but I wanted to start. I'm super excited to be on this amazing Past the Scope. Thank you to Lynn from PR Mentality. We've had some great speakers. I can't believe that I'm following up after that. If you guys were in the last scope, she was amazing and just, oh my God, that energy, right? Like, hey girl, hey Joanne, thank you so much. So right now what we're doing is a Past the Scope with these lovely ladies. Let me pull up actually the flyer. Oh, you're so cute, Joanne. Love you, heart you. So they should be hopping on and sharing with your peeps. Awesome. Welcome guys. Welcome. People are hopping on from the last scope. This is a past your scope. Thank you so much. Is that Razor P? Thank you for inviting. Hello. Let me just wait for the host to get on so we could get started. And I'm going to prep here my my tripod. I'm super excited to be on. It's really fun to do Past the Scopes because you meet so many new people. Thank you, Sigma Smith, for sharing. Thank you. Awesome. We're going to talk about branding and SEO tonight. So we've just had this Past the Scope talking about branding and small businesses, and I was followed up by, a great speaker just now. So I hope she hops on to give her a shout out. Make sure you guys are following everyone. Let me see. Lynn, PR Mentality, is the host. I'm just waiting. Miss BFAB is here. I'm just waiting for Lynn to hop on. Is Lynn in the house? Just let me know so we could get started, and I'm going to do an introduction. So first of all, let me prep this here real quick. If you guys are new to me, can you just write a number? Sandra, if you are new to my scope, can you write a number 1? Because I would love to do a proper intro. Thank you so much for being here. I'm super excited. Thank you. I'm extremely interested in the 2 topics you're presenting. Oh, awesome. Okay, sweet. Look at all these new people. All right, awesome. My name is Fusa, but my friends call me Fuse, and I am blogger and founder of Get Found with Fuse. I help creative entrepreneurs and bloggers get found online, and that is my passion, DIY SEO. So I teach bloggers, creative preneurs, like designers, photographers, any solopreneur really, on how they could get found online for their blog, for their websites, and also for social media. So I teach social media. Let me move back a little bit. Thank you. This jacket is from Zara. I love this jacket. I got it in Brazil. Hey Fuse, first time viewer. Awesome, welcome. So since there's a lot of first time viewers here, I actually, and our last speaker talked about how to unleash your brand. She said, she mentioned the first tip is to share your story. So let me just pull something up. I want to share with you guys a little bit about my story and how the hell did this crazy Brazilian, originally from Brazil, I'm Brazilian born in Jersey raised, which means I have a loud laugh, first of all, right? Brazilian in the house. Yes, Gabi's Brazilian too. Welcome. So I want to share with you my story of how I got into SEO. Never would have imagined 3 years ago that I would be teaching on SEO at all, okay? So I started my photography business 8 years ago, and basically I had 2 kids under the age of 2. And I had no money, right? My mom gave me a computer and a backdrop, and I wanted to market my business. So the only thing I had at the time was this social media platform for Brazilians called Orkut or Orchid. But I was like, my ideal audience is not there. Then I jumped onto Twitter, and Twitter really helped me actually connect with vendors in the wedding industry and with wedding planners, and really helped me get leads and new clients. So I love that social media was free because I had no money. I was broke, right? So I love how it was free. And then one day, a few years later, I established my photography business. I had a fellow photographer tell me about SEO, and I had heard the term, right, thrown around like a buzzword and pretended that I knew exactly what it was, but I was like, oh sure, but I really didn't. So this photographer basically shared with me what SEO is, and SEO stands for search engine optimization. So whenever you think about optimization, you really have to think of it as a boost. So there are things that you can do with your online presence, such as your blog, your social media, your site, to help you get found by search engines. So I like to break things down like to baby food, all this techie stuff. So what that really means, guys, is that there's things that I could do for my online presence, like my website, blog, and stuff. So think from Orlando. So if you're going on a road trip, and I realized that my my tire wasn't doing so well, so I go to the gas station and I give it a boost. This is exactly what SEO can do for you, but it can give you a big boost, putting you, of course, on the first page of Google for certain things that you want to be found for. So when this fellow photographer told me that I could do that, it was like love at first sight, okay? I fell in love with this idea that for free, I can help myself be found on search engines and actually get new clients and get new photography clients, right? I was mesmerized, but then I hit a really big brick wall. And that wall was that SEO was really a men's country club. Like, it was just like, all I saw around me was like these men and these techies. And I felt like they were like men at a golf, place smoking cigars. And this Brazilian girl here did not belong at all. So then I got a little, I felt a little like down, and I'm like, I don't know, but I really like this topic. So this is what I did, guys. I just signed up for every webinar there was. I kept studying on it. A lot of it didn't make any sense to me, but the things that did make sense to me, I started putting into practice, and I started seeing results. And then Facebook groups rolled around, or they improved or changed, and all the photographers, anytime they would start asking SEO questions, my name would pop up and I would, help. And then I started being known as the SEO expert. And then 3 years ago, I launched my first boot camp for SEO, helping fellow creatives. Yes, it was self-education, making a lot of mistakes, but seeing what worked. So what I liked was to empower other people that might not feel like they're techie, to take SEO into their own hands and put it into action, and they see results. Regards from, oh, awesome. I was just in Cancun in August. So that's me. So if you're looking for like the super technical SEO person, I'm sorry, I'm not that person. But if you're looking for me to break down these terms for you and help you get found online for your small business, in an easier way or more practical, I like to say it practical, my ghetto SEO skills, you are in the right place. So that is my introduction. Thank you so much. Yes, I have taught myself techie things since junior high. Awesome. See, I'm not actually that techie. Anything really super techie, I outsource, which is a really great tip for running your business. Okay. But I fell in love with SEO, and so now my spiel is teaching DIY SEO. I teach other people how to do SEO themselves, or if they hire out, then they know exactly what it entails. Because it's the worst thing when you're like, people are charging $500 a month, $700 a month to do your SEO, and you have no idea what they're doing. So later in your business, maybe that's something you want to outsource, but you at least know what it entails. So let's get to it. Are you guys ready? If you're excited about this topic about branding and SEO, and what the heck do these two things get together, give me a number one. I just want to make sure. Yes, they are scammy or very markety or very unpleasant. Like, I hate in Facebook groups when somebody, thank you for the ones, when somebody asks like a really simple SEO question, like, for example, like, should my alt tags all be different text? And then these people like vomit all these technical jargon, or like all the, here's the Moz guide to SEO. Like, just answer the freaking question and stop being so technical all the time. Sorry. Okay, so let's get started. So I've shared with you guys what SEO is. So search engines, right, are BFFs and the place that we want to be found for, right? So what they're looking for in a website, on a blog, is one thing. And it's actually kind of the same thing. Rand Fishkin from Moz. Oh yeah, I love him. I've photographed their conference, actually. I signed up to photograph this SEO conference at the time, and it was really way over my head, and it was these like big leaders in SEO, and it was a pleasure to just be there with them, right? So what search engines, or let's say Google, I call it Mr. Google, is what they're looking for actually on a site is trust. And that's the same thing that a client is looking for on a trust. And what I love is that branding can really help establishing trust for your end user and also for Google. So back in the day, yes, I definitely need help with SEO. Well, you're in the right place. So back in the day, SEO was very technical. It was very structured. It was all about getting backlinks and just very technical SEO. But since then, Google's done these changes, and they all give them like funny names like panda and penguin, like all these animals, right? It's like a zoo over there. So with these changes, other things are coming into play. If you think of it, how voice recording is going to affect SEO. How would I use that to promote your books? How would I use what SEO to promote your books, or whose book on your blog? Tell me a little bit more. So you tell all the truth. It's so confusing. What SEO? It can be so confusing. So okay. So I might have to wait for questions at the end because you guys are scrolling so fast. No problem. If you could wait a little bit, we'll get to it. So what we really need to do, so some things that Google looks at, right? So Google, I did just start, so you're good. So Google uses over 200 ways to rank a website. I've shared this story before. This is how search engines work. So let's pretend Mr. Google, I call him Mr. Google. Mr. Google went away on vacation, right, to Brazil, where I'm from. He fell in love. He decided he was going to live on the beach. And he was going to open this business. And this business was helping tourists find their lost items. So there are three things that search engines do. And the reason why I want to share this, because it's going to make sense a little bit more on the branding side. Three things that search engines do. So Mr. Google every day wakes up in the morning and he's going to scan his beach. So every single day, the search engine, so my favorite Google, they scan the interwebs looking for new data, just like a radar. This is why most of the time your blog will outrank your site if you have them in different platforms. Why? Because you're updating your blog more often. So the first thing that search engines do, okay, they're going to scan looking for new data. Then Mr. Google, if he finds like this necklace, some rings, some jewelry on that beach, he has to take it to his warehouse. But he has to categorize the items, the lost items, in really, fresh content, really structured and organized. So this is a fancy thing called indexing and algorithm. So basically, when the search bots look for new data on the interwebs and they find your content, they need to know like how to categorize it, right? So think of it like IKEA. You know IKEA, you've been to IKEA, right? If you're in the United States, IKEA, well, it's also from, Europe. Like when you're in the checkout line, like when you're down there and it's bins and rows, that's exactly like how, complex Google's algorithms is. It does it in split seconds, organizing that data, right? So the second thing is index. So then Mr. Google, a tourist comes to Mr. Google and says, hey, I've lost this funky body chain necklace, right? It's bronze. So they describe it, and then Mr. Google has to go to his fancy warehouse and comes back with 10 items. And he's only going to show you those 10 items in order of what he thinks best matches your description. That is ranking. So our goal as bloggers, entrepreneurs, is we want to be found for our product, services, for our business, for our brand online. And we want to be part of those results when people describes it. The hard part is sometimes people are not describing it the way we think they are. So if you're just brand new to SEO and you want to get started with SEO, the first thing you really need to look at is your list of words called keywords. So that could be one, funky body chain necklace made me laugh. Yes, I'm glad. I like laughing. So I have a funny story about that. I bought this in Brazil and I asked the guy, what was it? He said body chai. And I was like, what? He's like, it's in English. I was like, I speak English. So it's body chain. These are what these called, but they call it body chai. Yeah. So keyword research, which sounds like really tacky. Okay, guys, do you want to learn 2 tips on how you guys can expand your keywords and text for you to help you guys be found? If yes, say cheers. Let's write some cheers or yes right there. I'm just going to look over my notes. And thank you so much for all the hearts and for inviting your followers. Awesome. Okay. So the first thing I call these general keywords. So that is, what do you do? Where do you do it? What do you sell, right? So that's your main list. The problem is you all get stuck on that list and you think if you're not on page 1 of that list, then you're not going to rank and you're not going to get leads and bookings. Because this whole purpose, guys, is to get bookings. It's not to outrank a competitor. It's not to be on page 1. You could be on page 1, but if there's nobody looking or if they're not coming to you and booking, then there's no point. So this is what SEO will do for you. What SEO will do for you, it will help you get your commercial home on a busy street and get you traffic. But you still, thank you so much, you still have to entice the buyer with a really beautiful window, right? Think of Macy's during Christmas. And they have to come in. Yes, I will repeat that. And you still have to sell. So SEO won't solve necessarily your booking problem. So your first list of keywords, the first thing you're doing is writing down is what do you do, where do you do it, right? And what products do you offer? So for my photography business, I'm a wedding photographer in Myrtle Beach. I sell albums, canvases, and that's about it. So what I'm trying to say with your general keywords is I can't escape the fact that I am a Myrtle Beach wedding photographer, right? Yes, that is my blog, Get Found with Views. The problem with Myrtle Beach wedding photographer is, number 1, it's competitive. Number 2, it's saturated because there's only 10 spots for that page 1, right? But I call that the UFC ring. Do you guys want to be in the UFC ring fighting with other people, or do you want to be by the beach sipping on a little pretty drink? I want to be by the beach. So with that, there's a gazillion other ways for you to get found, and it doesn't have to be that main keyword, Myrtle Beach wedding photographer. It could be right by the beach, sipping the drink, because a lot of people don't do this because they're all in the UFC ring, fighting for each other for like 1, 2, or 3, or 4 keywords. I would rather marry you instead. All right. I hope you mean like marry me for my SEO brain. I hope so. All right, keep it going. Okay, so I want my site to be a trusted site in the eyes of Google, okay? So a lot of the, sometimes choose longer, more specific keywords. Yes, you can. So, okay, sorry, back to keywords. So how do we build that list? How do we get to the beach with a sippy drink? You have to add on your blogging topics, other things that you're a resource. So you need to be a resource for your audience. For that to happen, you got to know who your people are, right? So who's your ideal audience? What do they need? What keeps them up at night? You need to do that client avatar, okay? So then after that, okay, the 2 tips. You guys want really 2 quick tips? How to get, and I'm going to show you, okay? So what we're going to do is, it's actually you go to Google and it's called Google Suggests. So let me show you this. So I'm going to turn the camera. So, okay, real quick, somebody give me a keyword. What do you do? Where do you do it? Quick, I'm going to use you as an example. Know your target audience, first of all, yes. Which is a huge part of branding, right? Because then that message too. IRS audits, that does not sound like fun. That does not sound like fun. I'm sorry. Okay, all right. Urban is a good one too. All right, so IRS artist was first. I'm sorry, but I guess it's a good time. Paleo diet and African American community. Okay, so Google Suggests. Can you guys see my screen? So when you start typing, so let's say IRS audits. Let me turn a little bit more. Let's get closer here. Wait, that's too close. Okay, I gotta hold here and type with hot hands. Do you see how this is pulling up here? These are all keywords. This could be keywords I could use in image optimization, a blog post title if I cover that, okay? So what you could do is play the alphabet game, and you could write A, so assistant, B, look at all those keywords. Those are not things that you've typed, people. That's what people are searching. You got to think like your client. Many of you are making a huge mistake and using very industry related words, right? So if let's say IRS audit, and I'm like, I just been audited, and let's say I'm your target audience. I don't know your technical jargon, so you have to use words like your audience would look up, right? So for photographers, that would be like using engagement photos instead of engagement session. If you're a photographer, you're going to know the word session, but if you're someone new, never done this before, you're not going to know those terms. I'm about to change all the tags on my blog posts. So here, right, so C, D, okay. So let's say definition. See, that's a great post. What is an IRS audit, right? That would be, I also use Google Keyword Tool and Uber Suggest. Yes, I use those too. These are just really simple because there's a lot of people new here that haven't done any SEO. So then there's related searches here in the bottom. So I'm starting a Google Doc, a spreadsheet, and I'm adding these. Another actually to look for keywords is Pinterest, honestly. You could just type in there, and then they come up with suggestions. They got a new smart feed going on, and it's awesome. And you could also see other content that's been made, right? So IRS audit, we're still at IRS audit, okay? Actually, let's do paleo diet. So paleo diet. So you see here, that's a suggest. Those are keywords, right? So now look at that, paleo diet, look at that. For beginners, hello keyword. Keyword is like 1 word, 2 words, 3 words. Paleo diet plan. They can be pages, they could be social media things that I'm doing for my ideal audience. Recipes, I don't know what alcohol has to do with paleo diet, so that might not apply. So before and after, shopping list, 30-day, that could be a really cool challenge. So I just wanted to show 2 places that you could find new keywords. Amazon, you could look at Amazon and look at book titles for new keywords. You could go to Udemy, the courses, and see what people are teaching your topic. There's a ton of keywords in there. So there's plenty of ways for you to find new keywords, right? Can you do SEO for Pinterest? Yes, I actually have a whole course and a workbook called Pinterest SEO. The goal with Pinterest SEO is to be found in Google because your pins and boards get indexed by Google. So your goal for Pinterest SEO is not to become viral on Pinterest, but it is to come up in Google Images and Google, right, yep. I use it for local SEO all the time. Pinterest is wonderful for local SEO. Okay. All right. You guys are so awesome. I am pumped. Thank you so much. So let's continue. Okay. So search engines use over 200 ways to rank a website. So they want to make sure that your website is trustworthy. So if your website is about paleo diet for African Americans, they want to make sure that anybody that's searching anything related to that, if you're a trusted source. So the number one tip for SEO is always be a resource for your ideal audience, right? Oh, I'm so really helpful. The simplicity, yes. So do the images help push one ahead of other bloggers? Images in blogging or in Pinterest? Oh, thank you, girl. You're so awesome. Okay, so let's talk about branding and SEO. Google is starting to use branding as a factor to determine ranking. Why? Because branding has to do with the user experience on your site. When we are trying to boost our stuff online to get found on search engines, we're doing it for two people. The first person we're doing it for is for the search engine bots. So when you're optimizing for the search engine bots, I'm going to give you some tips on what Google is looking for, okay? They're looking for really great structure, guys. You have to have a clear navigation bar with clear words, okay? Don't give me that blog that has just your blog categories as your navigation. I did a whole post about that. You want to have actual pages on your blog. So a lot of you have a side hustle, you have this passion business, and you started it as a blog and you're just blogging. I recommend you add at least 3 or 4 pages on your blog and put it on your navigation bar. You want to make sure you have good structure when it comes to that, because Google is almost like a pyramid. So they look at your permalink, then they're going to look at some back-end SEO, like your page titles, which is the text that goes above the URL. If you're in WordPress, you could use the Yoast Seo plugin. I don't have enough time to get into all those details, but you could use the Yoast Seo plugin to find out where your page titles are in order for you to write the keywords in there, okay? You also don't want to be like spammy and just repeating your keywords over and over again, because that's not going to be good for search engine bots. What do search engine bots really love? So they love a clear navigation. They also want your page titles and descriptions to be different from each page, because get this. If they go to the page that says home and then they go to another page that says gallery, when they land on that page or portfolio, let's say, and that page, the back end SEO just says, you know, let's say branding consultant for women, branding consultant for women, the search engines actually might stop and they might not index the rest of your pages. I hope I'm not having, are you guys still with me? Give me some hearts, internet issues. They might not crawl the rest of your pages because all your text is looking the same, okay? So they might not go. So that is important on the back end SEO. Keyword spamming, that's right. So when blogging, that's why you need that keyword list, because you're blogging a post, you want to have different text for your image optimization. Absolutely. Like keyword stuffing is the worst, okay? You don't want to be doing that. In other words, stop trying to trick the system and make a functional site. Yes, yes. Functional. So blogs need to have different titles and keywords. Absolutely. You don't want to be just repeating your stuff. It's not good. Talking about organization and structure and you also want to make sure like you have links out. That's why it's always good when you have a blog